Welcome to our very first Sistory History Kids episode.
Or, as Caroline wanted to call it, Sistory History KIDSTORY. Medicine and Magic in Ancient Egypt. To help us in our quest to discover the fun and interesting stuff, we're joined by 10-year-old Felix, who's been learning about ancient Egypt at school, so hopefully he can teach us a cool thing or two. We're going to talk about what the ancient Egyptians did when they got sick, the cures they used, and how their medical ideas and practices compare to ours today. Let's get started. But first, a very special welcome to any new listeners, and of course, a special welcome to Felix. Hello!
Hello! Hello!
Felix, what can you tell us about ancient Egyptian medicine?
So, I know for a fact that there were two gods of healing, and there's one goddess of healing. So, the first goddess was Sekhmet, who was the goddess of healing, who also had a lion for a head.
Did she?
Yeah, she did.
Cool. That's fun.
The first god we'll talk about is Heka, who was the god of magic and healing. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't think he has anything on his head. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
I suppose they can't all have things on their heads.
Yeah, true. And then the last one was Imhotep, who's also another god of healing. And I think that is all the three gods and goddesses of healing.
Thank you.
Felix, you mentioned three gods there
Yeah.
who were in charge of medicine and healing, but also magic. And that's a really important point because the ancient Egyptians thought that medicine was a mix of science, magic, and religion.
Yeah.
Felix, what would you do today if you were sick?
So, if it was like a small cut, then I would just go tell my mum and dad, tell one of my parents or guardians.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was like major, it was super big, like a massive cut, I would definitely go to the hospital.
Okay, so you go to the hospital.
Yes,
I
would.
Do you think that there were hospitals in ancient Egypt?
I think I was.
You think there were?
Yeah.
Correct. Ancient Egyptians were pretty advanced at the medical stuff, so they were hospitals.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
There were medical schools, and they
That's
were called houses of life,
Ah.
which is nice. Also, we're pretty sure that they had some sort of healthcare systems in place. For example, some of the workers who were building tombs or
The pyramids.
they had systems in place to allow healthcare provision for the workers, a bit like our NHS today.
So if they got injured, if a brick fell on top of them, then there's somewhere they could go and get help.
Ow, massive brick falling on you. No, thank you.
And actually, both women and men could be doctors. So just like today,
Nice.
which is good.
Mm-hmm. Another way that the Egyptians were really advanced is that they valued cleanliness a lot. So they cleaned their medical tools if they were doing operations or surgery or cutting off a leg or something, and their hands. So that meant that actually you were less likely to die from infection back in the Egyptian times than you were in, say, the Tudor or medieval times. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's insane.
It's insane.
Insane, man.
Do ancient Egyptians do some of the same things that we do today?
Yeah, definitely. So they used bandages to protect wounds. They believed in a healthy diet. They would do things like remove rotten teeth. So if they saw that a tooth was decaying in the mouth, they had tools that could take that tooth out.
Do you know I had 6 teeth removed when I was about your age, Felix?
Yeah.
I had 0.
You've had 0.
So far.
So you're good at brushing your teeth. I drank far too much Ribena.
Now, the ancient Egyptians did not drink Ribena, and they didn't have sugar, really. But what they did have is when they were grinding grain on stone, bits of little stone would get in their bread mix. So actually, and then it would start eroding their teeth.
Oh.
So a lot of them had really quite bad teeth.
Yeah.
Talking about teeth, to help prevent tooth decay, they used eggshells and twigs to clean their teeth.
Eggshells?
Yeah.
That's a bit of an odd choice, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't have toothpaste back then, did they?
No.
No.
Hopefully they wash it first, or else they'll just have... They're just putting dirt into the mouth.
Interestingly, some believe that they were the first civilization to create the breath mint.
Oh.
Using a combination of frankincense, cinnamon and honey.
Delicious.
Yeah. They would also put splints on broken bones.
What are splints?
It's a way of just securing the bone and keeping it in place.
Okay.
So we might use casts today. It's to keep the bone in place so it doesn't move around, so it can heal straight. Also, they used a lot of plants and herbs in their medicine because they believed, rightly so, that a lot of these plants had healing properties. So yeah, there were lots of things that they did the same as we do, or similar.
Quite interesting.
There are ways, though, in that they were very different.
Yeah.
Do you want to know about some of them?
Yeah, sure.
Well, they thought beer and wine were really healthy. What do you think to that?
Wrong.
A bit wrong?
Yeah.
They also had some cures that perhaps we might think were a little bit unusual, such as crocodile poo.
Ew.
Would you have to eat it?
I think you put it places.
Oh.
Shall we move on from poo?
Yes, please.
Also, they had something rather fun called channel theory. They believed that the body was like the River Nile, and it had lots of interconnecting channels. But they thought that air and blood and tears and saliva and poo and wee would just sort of move freely throughout these channels. But also, if they got blocked, they needed to be unblocked.
Yes.
What do you think, Felix?
So it makes sense that they think that it would be about the River Nile, like all those veins with water, because about 70% of your body is filled with water.
Wow.
Nice. Good fact, Felix.
Thank you.
One other thing where they differed a fair bit from us is they put a lot of focus on magic and spells and religion.
We wouldn't have things like that in modern day because we don't really use spells, do we?
We don't necessarily in the UK so much, but there are cultures around the world who put a lot of meaning in spells and charms and incantations and things. Anyway, the point about magic and science is very pertinent to what I was going to talk about next, which is injury versus disease.
So, should we do injury first? Because I've just finished working on the pyramids and unfortunately a brick has fallen on my head.
Oh, okay. So you've got a hurty head.
That's not very good.
No. So what am I going to do?
Well, you're probably going to need to go to the hospital.
The Egyptians realised that injuries usually had an obvious cause. Maybe you were playing tag, you fell over, you cut your knee, okay? So it's pretty obvious what you've got to do. You've got to clean it up and then protect it, and then hopefully it'll get better. Easy, right? But disease often doesn't have an obvious cause or a visual association with it. So they found that a little bit harder to understand or explain. And their rationale was either you've committed a sin or you've been naughty. You've angered a god, so a god is cross with you.
That's not very good. Even in Greek mythology, it's probably even worse.
Yeah. Or maybe you've angered a demon.
Oh, God.
Or a ghost. So this is how the ancient Egyptians would explain disease. One of these things is the cause.
Okay, so Felix, you've angered a demon. What are you going to do about it?
Well, I'm going to see how bad it is. If it's major, I'll go to the House of Life and I'll get a doctor. If that doesn't work, I would probably pray to a god.
That's not a bad shout. Yeah. Because we know that religion is really important.
And I'd pray to, like, one of the gods of healing.
I'd pray to all three.
Sekhmet, Heka, and Imhotep.
Nice. That's a good idea. Pray to all three.
Yep.
See if one of them's listening.
And hopefully, I didn't anger one of the gods. That'd probably just be even worse.
Depends. If they're in a good mood, they might forgive you. If they're in a bad mood, they might just make you even sicker.
Yep.
So the Egyptians thought that gods could heal, but they also thought that the gods gave healing powers to others.
Oh, is that what the doctors have then?
A lot of doctors were actually priests.
Right.
Because who's closest to the gods?
The priest.
The priests in the temples, right?
Actually, the earliest hospitals were in temple.
Ah. It all makes sense.
I did not know that.
When we think about the magic and the healing spells, doctors might speak these spells to you, but you could also write them down and onto a bit of papyrus or scroll, and you could put them in an amulet or a locket and wear it around your neck.
I also remember that sometimes you would use ink and you'd put a healing spell on your tongue, which would be quite painful.
Oh, what, so you'd write a spell on your tongue?
With the ink, yeah.
It would have to be quite short.
Or very small handwriting.
Yeah,
but they did actually do that in ancient Egypt times, and I would not like to get that done because that would hurt a lot.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't last long, would it?
No, because it would just like wash away in your mouth.
Unless it was an actual tattoo. It could be if they're using ink. But talking of tattoos, they were really popular in ancient Egypt and thought as a medicinal aid.
Really? I thought they were just a modern day thing.
No, not at all.
Well, speaking of pain, there's probably going to be a god of pain, isn't there?
Yeah.
Or goddess of pain.
Some historians think that the tattoos was actually an early form of acupuncture
Right, okay.
and used to relieve some sorts of chronic illness, but also just generally medical protection. So maybe during an operation, if you had a tattoo, it was thought to provide some sort of protection. So there you go, tattoo facts.
Tattoo facts.
Well, after all that excellent knowledge, fun facts abounding, shall we have a little game?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay, this is a sensory game in keeping with the sensory theme of Sistory History. Okay, so I've got a selection of items in my magic bag. Some you are going to taste, some you are going to smell, and some you are going to feel. Each of them is an ancient Egyptian cure, and then I'm going to give you a list of ailments or illnesses, and you're going to try and match things up. Is everyone clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so this first one, I'm going to let you smell. Don't look.
Oh, that smells like Christmas.
Have you smelt enough?
Mm-hmm.
You smelt
Okay.
enough? What do you think that is?
Felix, you go first.
Cinnamon.
I think it's cinnamon.
You are correct. It is cinnamon. Well done. This next one, you're going to touch. Ready?
Yeah. Ooh. Ooh. Is that eggshell? I have no idea.
Felix, you'll go.
Oh, I don't know what that is. Can I break it?
Yeah? Okay, do either of you have any idea what that is?
Felt like eggshell.
I'm just gonna guess eggshells.
It is not. It's tree bark.
Oh, yeah, that makes.
The next one, you're going to taste. Except Caroline will not want to taste this because you hate it. So,
I know what it
Felix,
is.
you can close your eyes and you will taste this.
Oh, I think I. Wait. Oh no.
Do you know what that is?
I think I do. It's honey.
It is honey. Well done.
Well done.
That's good honey. Probably the best honey ever.
Tesco's clear honey.
£1.5.
I'm gonna go on a Tesco's honey spree.
Right, team.
Yeah.
2 left.
Okay. Okay.
Haven't got a clue. Maybe I do.
So I think it's mint.
Same.
Very good, both of you. It is
Yeah.
mint.
High five.
So this is the last one, and this is a feel.
We're not very good at the feelings, are we, Felix?
I'd like you to both close your eyes.
Okay.
Now this you're not going to feel with your hand. You're going to poke out your tongue.
What?
Further than that, please. Poke out your tongue, please. Further.
No clue.
Now, this is a cure. We have referenced it already on what we talked about.
It's something on the tongue. Were you writing on our tongues?
I think it's
Right.
pen ink.
You were writing on our tongues.
What was I writing on your tongue?
A spell.
Correct. A healing spell. Right, so the 5 things we've got: cinnamon, honey, tree bark, mint, spell. All I'm looking for is for you to get one cure associated with one ailment.
Yeah.
Tummy ache.
Oh, mint.
I agree, mint.
Very good. Headache.
Tree bark?
Honey.
Honey. Caroline, you're correct.
Oh,
It's the tree bark. So tree bark contains things that are similar to aspirin.
Ah.
And aspirin, obviously, we use today. A cut. If I cut my leg playing tag.
Oh. It's something raw.
I think it's honey.
Yeah.
I think it's honey.
It's honey. Very good. Bad breath.
So it must be the cinnamon.
Yeah, the cinnamon. Okay, snake bite.
Magic spell.
Yeah, I'd have
I
a magic
think so.
spell. Yeah.
Well done. I will tell you, in addition, that honey is also thought to sort out a toothache, a cough, and asthma. Mint's good for indigestion. And there you go. What are your scores?
We tied on 8.
Excellent work.
Yeah.
And I still think we should call it Sistory History KIDSTORY.
What do you think, Felix?
I agree. I think we should call it Sistory History KIDSTORY. Can I just say something?
Yeah.
I've had a great time recording and I loved my first episode. And I hope you enjoyed listening to our podcast, our very first kids episode.
Thanks, Felix.
You're welcome.
If you like what you heard today, then please do take the time to like, rate, subscribe, or share wherever you download your podcasts. Or come visit our website, or why not email us? See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.